Autentico Art Medium Part 2. A couple of things have come to light, questions people have asked, things they've encountered. So I thought I'd do a quick demonstration on exactly what it was they were talking about. This particular box has been painted before they've done it in a different type of paint, which actually melts as soon as it gets wet. So the problem the customers had, as they've tried to actually put the transfer on, the paint is coming off as much as the actual paper. So what I've done is I've left it, I've brought it in this state and I've left it like that, and I've just literally washed it with the paint to try and just camouflage the paper. Now the other thing that's come to light, or questions that people have been asking, is what do you do now once it's actually done and you have the effect you want? Well, this particular one, I need to match it in a bit, so a very damp sponge with a bit of the paint on, and you just paint over the whole thing. It's quite watered down, but as you can see it's starting to camouflage the little patchy white bits. Didn't dare take any more off because, as I say, the whole thing was starting to melt. It's more around the edges than the actual transfer part, but of course you're going to get that rather strange look. So just use the paint with a very damp sponge and just sort of blend it in. It's a bit like French dry brushing technique, only using the same colour. Obviously when it's wetted down it will go a bit lighter, so just run across the top of the rest of the piece. Just blend it all in so you can't see where one starts and the other finishes. And that should solve that problem. When you start to get a little bit more confident with this, you can also use the sponge to take the paper off, rolling along to the edges. It is quite quick, so you do have to be careful. Just use the edge of the front of the sponge, and off it comes. I wouldn't exactly call it an advanced technique, but you do have to just be careful because you can very easily pull the whole thing off if you get too enthusiastic. There you go, see it's coming off quite quickly with the sponge. They are quite robust, but there's always the time when you just get a little bit too vigorous and start taking chunks out. I don't actually mind that, I think it adds to the look. But if you're in a hurry and you can't wait, this is another way, just using, as I say, just the edge of the sponge. You see the paint starting to dissolve already. I'm going to finish this piece off for the customer just so that they can get on with their next one. It may take one or two goes to actually just completely disguise the fact there's a tiny bit of paper left, but once you've got there, I think you'll agree, a little bit of distressing to match it in. Just wash the paint off, you get a mark, and then you can bring it back down, a bit of more paint just to hide it if you don't want quite so much. It'll just match it into the patches where the enthusiasm got the better of, and I actually quite like that. It's a little more distressed. All in all, actually very effective. Finishing off, I've got here some white chalk wax, which is one of my favourites because it gives this amazing washed out effect. We have it in grey, we have it in black, available from all the Autentico dealers. I think there's 140 in total, so I'm sure you'll find one. And there you go, you can't tell where one finishes and the other starts. Oh, I love this stuff. Anybody think I enjoyed my job? There you go. So now you've merged in the patchy paint where the paint dissolved with the wax, and the next step I think will probably be to seal this one, although it may just a clear wax would do it. You wouldn't need to seal it because it's not going to get a lot of wear, and you can't see whether the actual art transfer starts or finishes, so it might be just as well to leave it as it is. Just put some clear wax over the top and away you go. The other option would be to stick some sealer on it. Comes out clear anyway, but it'll give you that bit more robust finish if that's going to get some use. And there you have it.